So they're talking about moving into a new climate environment. Well, geez, I've been talking about that for 18 years. People are starting to understand. People who didn't believe in climate change. This guy said he believed all the bullshit. That climate change was some sort of a scam. Da, 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 da. He says, we never had a tornado. We had 2 here this week. I'm starting to understand that climate change is real. You see, this is what happens when people start being directly affected. Okay? All the flooding, the highest temperatures, the most rain, the highest winds, that's because the atmosphere has more energy. There's no way to avoid that. It's what carbon dioxide does. It warms our atmosphere. Okay? The ocean does absorb 60-70% of it, but that causes problems in and of itself, right? People are starting to be personally affected, finally. And I think that we're going to have a little easier path towards starting mitigation procedures and processes and learning how to live with a warmer planet. At least it will put an end to oil. And then all those, as soon as people start becoming affected, Tobacco lied, and it was on record for a long time. In the end, they paid. It will be the same with oil. Make no mistake about that. They fucking know that. That's why gas is $5 a gallon. It's not because it should be. It's because they haven't built a new gas refinery since 1964. 1964. Now, they could have been built 4 or 5 new production facilities to produce just gasoline. The mix for California and everybody else, they could have done that. But then gas would be 62 cents a gallon. And they couldn't buy a bigger fucking boat. And we allowed them to do that because your politicians are bought and fucking paid for by those same people. The newspapers that you get, the news organizations you watch, I don't care who does it, it's owned by oil. They start hundreds of organizations that sound really good, like Clean Air for America, and it's really a fucking anti-climate place, okay? I think I had a list of over 200 that I read off back in 2017. It's so sad. It really is fucking sad that people just don't get it. For me, I feel bad, actually, because we've benefited, okay? So normally, once it gets to 100, we don't see many days below 100. We just don't. So today it's 103 today. And I would consider that normal and no big deal. We got friends outside laying concrete right now. 103 degrees because they're used to it, okay? But people in England and shit that don't have homes, don't have AC, they're going to suffer. It's always the people that aren't prepared and poor people. So this is what it's going to be. So it's 103 today. Then it is 99, 97, 99, 96, 91, 97, 96, 95. This is June 22nd. Usually by the time we hit official summer, which real soon here, it's 100 degrees. It's 101, and 111 is our normal hot temperature. 111. 112 and 114, absolutely, we get those days during the year. But for June to have all these days in the from 95 to 99, very unusual. I know, I've lived here my whole life. I don't give a fuck what the weatherman says, okay? And then it's only 102. Now it'll probably go up, but then after just a few days, it starts cycling back down again. It never used to do that. Here, where I lived, it started here and it went to here. And there was no fucking this shit. That's what we get now. We get these cool periods that give us we never got those before. I never had those growing up. I spent every summer that I can remember up here. Okay, other than a few where I had to be elsewhere, but We benefited. We really did. I hate to say that because it's cooler. We're still putting in mini splits. That's why they're laying concrete out here. We're putting one of these units up front so that we can save on electricity. So we're not heating and warming areas that we're not using. Okay? Just much more efficient, period. I have an excavation going right here under the house for batteries. And then next I'm going to get solar panels that I can just lay out. I can just prop them out there and let them charge batteries. And, whenever there comes a time, our power hasn't gone out maybe for an hour in the last 3 years. I remember, no, it actually was about 2.5 hours because we were watching Shogun on my tablet upstairs. Yeah, we benefited. We did, but there are people that are not. And you can see they don't want to talk about it. There are so many things that are left out of climate models because who? Fucking oil companies. You see, even these groups that are trying to help us are controlled by fucking oil. Big oil loves talking about how they're yeah, we're right with you. Yes, it's all bullshit. It's fucking insane bullshit. They are lying out their asses. All they care about is that money. That's why they haven't built a new gas refinery since 1964. They will fuck us every instant they can, and they are the ones that are fighting this new change, this new feeling in America that we need to go another direction. They don't like that because that means we're getting off of oil, and they don't fucking like that. And so they buy your politicians. They're easily bought. Donald Trump brings all these businessmen in and says, give me $1 billion, I'll give you whatever the fuck you want. Is that not the swamp? I mean, I'm missing something here, right? Right now, they could make plenty of money. Everybody could be happy. They could do really fucking well if we were paying 75 cents a gallon. Everyone would be doing well. But because we have no balls hanging from the men, the old white-haired fucking guys that have been in politics too long. That's what happens. When you get guys that are in there for 20 years, it's too fucking long. Okay? They all become corrupt sooner or later. Every last fucking one of them. Okay? There is no Republican, Democratic not fucking being bribed. It's all one show. Okay? Don't be naive. We got lucky, but others won't. And you know what's going to happen the first time? It hasn't happened. The tornadoes, hurricanes normally start to shy away around New York. You start moving away from that coastline, and water starts cooling down, and they die out. They could have one go right up through the bay, right, and just fucking Manhattan, dead center. It's happened before. And see, these are the kind of things you're fucking around with. It's an experiment we started that we have no idea how it's going to end. And if, as has happened before, that happened today, Wall Street would have 9 feet of water in the middle of the fucking street. 9 feet. Do you know how many people live in basements in New York? And the destruction, the property destruction, it would just be a horrible damn thing to happen. But it's going to happen. We just keep adding energy into the atmosphere. It gives these storms more punch and more power to last just a little bit longer, to make it a little further north. They like to make that right turn, but we're adding energy into the atmosphere. We don't know what's going to happen. Okay, it's all up in the air, and that's a big fucking problem. It's bad enough when the weatherman's wrong all the time. It's a different thing when we're talking about $500 billion worth of damage being done by a storm that hits Florida or New York. I mean, it's one thing to have a natural disaster. We have the Juan de Fuca plate that's off the Washington coast, runs all the way down the tip of California, I think. San Andreas. We have these big faults. That's a thrust fault. They're going to get a wave just like they got in Japan. When that thing goes and it's overdue, they're not prepared. Well, they're prepared to a point. They have these sirens. You're supposed to go to this high ground. Da, 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 da. But what's left? Yeah, fucking tornadoes are deadly and they do a lot of damage, but nothing compares to a tidal wave from a thrust fault. Okay, nothing. We got lucky. And I feel bad about that. A lot of people are not going to. They're going to. It appears we're going to get a little bit wetter and a little bit cooler. We're not going to have the long hot runs. It's warming up north, which means there's not so much cold air falling down into the valley being compressed. The big area is changing. Go to NOAA and download all of their satellites. They have all the satellites that cover the entire Pacific Ocean. Or any area that you want, they have a satellite there with, 12 different channels that you can see, okay? Upper, lower temperatures, upper, lower moisture. I mean, anything that you could want. It's really, it's really cool. I have about 9 of them saved, so I can open them up. Mine's the Northwest area. You go to wherever, your area is at in the satellite section. And I can see it change over the last 10 years. It's speeding up. That's what I always talked about that scared me, was that everything is always behind. A report comes out, it's fucking old. It's so outdated that they're shocked. And I'm hearing that too many times. Well, we're shocked that this is so bad. We're shocked that this is now speeding up. We're shocked that it's happening so much quicker than we thought. I don't like that. See, even the people that are going and doing the work are being financed in some sideways way by fucking oil. Fire departments, your teachers, your goddamn, everybody. They're all fucking invested in oil. And we need to get off that fucking poison. The sooner the better. 2017 was the break point for methane. And now exactly what I said was going to happen is happening. Started out with one blowhole, and now we've got 10,000. It's and methane is not included in the climate models. Now, why the fuck would you not do that? When you have enough methane to blow giant 100-foot wide by 100-foot deep plugs of frozen earth, hundreds of feet into the air, throw it all over the fucking place. Do you know how much gas it takes to do that? That's just gas buildup pressure. That's not what's coming. It's not included. So, you see, therein lies, that's the rub. When you want to talk about, well, how does big oil really affect it? That's it. For me, that's number one. The number one thing on the list. It has been. Anyone who comes here knows that it's methane and religion are the two things that I hate the most. It's just not accounted for, and that's insane. The entire upper third of our planet, you can go find maps of it right now, is permafrost. And some places it's miles deep, and we're going to have a real serious problem when that swamp starts melting. And that's what's happening now. That's where the blowholes are coming from. But it's going to continue and get way worse in the future, right? And it's not accounted for in models. And they love 50 years. Everything is 50 years. Then the scientists go and look and they go, oh, fuck, Thwaites is no longer a grounded ice sheet. Thwaites is no longer a grounded ice sheet. That's what happened to Larsen A, Larsen B, happening to Larsen C, Pine Island, Thwaites. The entire western archipelago of the Antarctic in 1964. I saw a science production that said 1 degree temperature would cause it was basically the end of mankind. And look how far oil has pushed that. Oh, we're going to go for like 2.5 degrees, ought to be fine. No, it's not going to be fine. It's not going to be fine. Humans, it sucks. I see humans becoming better, but I don't see the planet healing in that process at all. It's only bleeding, continue to bleed more, okay? Choking and suffering from this cancer. And yeah, it's possible we couldn't make it as a species. It's quite possible that we could. What a terrible thing. And people wonder why alien, rational, spiritual intelligences are watching this planet in horror, going, just in shock probably. No matter how much they try to help us, we're just, it's fucked up. It really is. And it comes.